General information about Dragonia War. Disclaimer, I haven't actually participated in one in several years, and even the 2 times I did, it was very minimal. So I don't have recent direct experience. But as far as I know, everything I'm going to tell you is accurate. If anyone knows different, please feel free to say so in the comments. The event itself is a battle to control Dragonia, that area in the center. The alliance that occupies that building in the center for 6 consecutive hours, or for the most hours total if no one gets that 6 consecutive, chooses the ruler of the kingdom. The ruler of the kingdom gets to do a lot of interesting things. They can grant titles, boosts, rename the kingdom. They also determine immigration rules. That's another view of the rules for the event itself. So, when this countdown reaches 0, these shields will disappear. At which point, if there isn't a kingdom agreement, then it's basically a free-for-all. You try and attack Dragonia and occupy it. There are also 4 altars. To be sure to win, you actually need to hold all 5 locations. Because if my alliance held Dragonia, and a different alliance holds the Western Altar, then every X number of minutes, I'm not sure exactly how it works, I just know that the might here gets applied to the might here. You know, I don't think you don't actually like see a march or anything. It's just the might sort of gets applied to it and causes damage here. So you want to have, if you want to have the center, you also want to have all the others. You get points for occupying locations, and you get points for attacking locations, and you may also get points based on having your troops wounded. I'm not sure on that. That popped up on one of the discords I looked at. So, on the surface, it doesn't really seem that complicated, but there are additional things to know. 1, the march time is very slow. So, if you scroll here, even, I can't give you exact numbers, but as far as I know, even somebody leaving from this spot over here, heading just to this altar, it would take them quite a bit of time, say upwards of 30 minutes, maybe longer. But particularly once other kingdoms get involved, you don't want to be on the Blacklands. I am not sure which one it is. I'm not sure if it's before or after the kingdom opens to immigration, but eventually other kingdoms are involved. You can go to another kingdom and try and take their Dragonia. They can come here and try to take our Dragonia. And if they succeed in occupying a Dragonia in another kingdom, then that kingdom has to pay taxes to them. I read somewhere it should be that tax you pay when you transport resources, and the difference in resources between what someone you attack loses and what your troops bring home is what goes into the other kingdom's coffers. So, other kingdoms are involved. However, when those attackers are here, they can only attack locations on the Blacklands. They wouldn't be able to attack these castles on the green. Which is why it can be, why, you might think, oh, let's jump to this location so that we can attack the altar. But that may not be a good idea, because then people from outside the kingdom who are there can attack you there. People who are in the same kingdom as you can attack you no matter where you are. That's one of the reasons why I haven't tried to participate in one kingdom I was in. They didn't do a good job of making sure alliances knew that there was... actually, I don't even think there was an agreement. It was just somebody, despite the fact that the whole point of the event is to attack, somebody got offended that they were being attacked at an altar, and so they had other people in their alliance jump that person. They all attacked that person's castle. Which makes no... Why are you retaliating for something we're supposed to be doing? It makes no sense, particularly since I think the person being attacked was C26 type. He had T7s, and the person doing and the person attacking had T3s. It was ridiculous to get upset about that. Anyway. Okay. So I lost my train of thought. Alright, so I've covered Dragonia, the king, the altars, sending attacks, why it might not be a good idea to be on the Blackland. One other important thing to note about Dragonia is that the ruler will usually start a kingdom boost called Fast Comeback after it ends. And during Fast Comeback, you gain a 300% speed increase to training troops up to 120% of the might you lost in battles involving Dragonia. So if you lose 100,000 might because of troops dying, then you can train enough troops to gain 120,000, 300 times faster than you normally can. The downside to this is that healing, to get those casualties, that means you have a lot of wounded. And wounded, if you have too many wounded, they may end up dying. And in fact, I believe, let's check the rules for a second. 70% of casualties in battles will be sent to the infirmary, which means 30% of casualties die. Gone. Finite. Never to return. If you get too many wounded, I'm not too worried about it. My infirmaries can hold almost 180,000 troops. The Time Altar can hold another 180,000. And then we also have an Alliance Infirmary, though I don't think that tells us how many it can hold. Just that max, if you have more wounded than can fit in your infirmaries, they come here. Once all three locations are maxed out, the troops die, even if they would have otherwise lived. Now, so you run the risk of having a lot of troops dying, which, granted, you apparently, supposedly, the fast comeback and the training makes up for that if you have enough resources and speed ups. But then there's also the resources needed for healing. I have been told that there is a strategy to get around that. First, you make sure you fill your infirmary, this first part, with low-level troops. Since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get these healing. So I might train a bunch of T1 cavalry and send them against monsters they can't defeat until I have enough wounded to fill this up. Another strategy is if there's an agreement in the kingdom concerning Dragonia that often includes what can be sent to attack. For example, for our first Dragonia here in K179, the agreement is that you can't attack the center. An alliance has already been determined that will hold the center. And if you attack an altar, the altars are going to rotate among various alliances, and if you attack an altar, you can only send T3 catapults. The goal isn't to try and take the altar away. It is just to get those points for attacking. So, use T3 catapults to attack an altar until you fill up your infirmary. And then the next part, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work given the agreement. Now, my alliance is going to be one of the ones holding an altar for a time. And so when I take that altar, I'm going to send my best troops. When people attack me, those troops will be sent to either the Time Altar or the Kingdom Infirmary. Or not the Kingdom Infirmary, sorry, the Alliance Infirmary. I am not sure. I've gotten the impression that it goes Infirmary, Alliance Infirmary, Time Altar. But the way other people have explained this strategy to me, they make it sound like, no, it goes Infirmary, Time Altar, and then Alliance Infirmary. I'm not sure. But the main point is, whereas you use resources to heal troops in the Kingdom Infirmary, in the Time Altar, it's basically just time. I mean, you get these things down here. I don't think it gives a... Okay, that's just the infirmary cap. Time Force gathers over time. And then you can apply it to the troops that are in the Time Altar to heal them, or you can use diamonds. Thus, saving the resources that you would have spent healing them to do the fast comeback instead. And as far as I know, I really can't think of anything else to talk about for Dragonia, because as I said, this is going to be my first time actively trying to participate in it. So, if anyone has more information, feel free to say so in the comments. And I will talk more about the agreement for my kingdom for our first Dragonia in a different video. I will likely try and get in the habit of posting a video like that a few days before Dragonia and then taking it down afterwards. So if you're in my alliance and want to know what the specific plan is for our Dragonia, look for that. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful.